Hey guys, sorry it's been so long since I've done a video, but had some problems. I took a video of a lot of the plumbing work, or I took several videos of the plumbing work that I did, and somehow that video was lost, deleted. I don't know what I did, but so I'm going to kind of go back and re-highlight that, but I will apologize. After I did the plumbing, I did some of the framing on the surround, so you're going to kind of have to look through the framing. But before we do that, I'm going to finish off the interior. We're going to be putting in the jets and the lights on that just to get the interior finished. I will tell you this is kind of important. Before you do the jets on the inside, you have to do a limited amount of the plumbing on the outside, specifically the jet housings. The jet housings have to be in and glued in before you do the jets on the inside. So I know I'm going a little bit out of order, but I wanted to just show you a video of wrapping up the interior before we get to the plumbing and stuff like that. Just remember, don't do this part until your jet housings are glued in on the outside. So on this video, I'm just going to highlight just finishing up the interior, and then on the next video we can get into what the plumbing was like, and then we've still got the surrounds to do and frame up and the kind of finishing up, putting all the components in, and the electrical as well. So enjoy this video. Hopefully I'll get another one cranked out here for you pretty soon. All right.
Well, hey guys, we are pretty much done with the interior. Now we're down to working on the jets, which is good. So what I've got here is about 16 inches of PVC pipe, and I've put the jet thread, I don't know, the coupling comes with the jet bodies in here. Just put a little bit of silicone grease on there. It's super important to not cross thread these. So it's going to run all the way back into the jet housing, making sure you don't cross thread it, and screw it in snug. Now what we're going to do is mark using something flat. Mark where it's flush with the wall here. Make a pencil line. Back it back out of there. And here where I've got my pencil line, I'm going to cut that. And then just to get it perfect, I'm going to measure 3 3/8 down from there with this and cut it at that line. And that's going to be the overall length of the body. I'll show you that in a second. Okay, so we've cut it to length, just the way we want it. But as you can imagine, it goes in there and it's too far back in there. So what we've done is we've created a tool to install it. But before we do, one thing you want to do is take your jet housing here and make sure that it fits back in this gap with no drag whatsoever. See, it's kind of binding up a little bit. So I'm going to take a little time to kind of clean around the edges here so that this fits in there a little bit better. So, oh my goodness. So here's what I have done since that last little clip. You know how I said I couldn't, it's a little snug in here and it needed cleaned out. Well, I took a knife and I kind of cleaned around there. Yeah, that didn't work. I noticed that there was some raised lettering and stuff on this jet housing. I tried grinding that off, it still was tight. So I ended up having to go around on all 18 jets and with a Dremel tool. What had happened was I got a little overzealous with my glue. Can't use too much glue, right? Wrong. There's a little bit of glue kind of around on that seam between the 2.5 inch pipe and that plaster niche. And just that little bit of buildup of glue was really binding this housing. So after I ground those down, vacuumed everything out, looks like we're going to be able to slip in there just like we want to. You've also noticed that I've put this gasket on here. That's going to go on every single one of them. So with that being said, what we want to do is get rid of our glue here. And I want to prime the end here because I'm not going to have a chance to prime it later. Now, I will tell you too, one thing that I did as I kind of bevel each one of these pipes, just to bevel it down a little bit, just to make the this slip on a little bit better once it's in there. So I'll also take my primer and prime the inside of this. Okay, so here's that tool I was talking about. All of this is 1-inch pipe with a coupling on the end of it. I'm just going to put that on there. I've already put the grease on there. Make it a little easier to thread. Get it to where it's nice and snug. And pull it out. Now it's in there. Last thing I want to do is, again, just one last time kind of dry fit it. Make sure that it's doesn't go on there. That's what's kind of beneficial about having that beveled edge in there. So obviously you're not going to be able to get glue down in there. So what I've done, or what I'm going to do, is just glue one side here. So this is going to be the first one that I do. For the best here. Yep, slides right on there. And there we have it. That's all there is to it for that. There we have it. Got all of them in there. A couple of them, if they don't quite line up with the pipe that's inside there, what I did is I just grabbed anything long and straight, and you kind of thread it through and then push that pipe off to the side. I noticed that a couple of my pipes were warped, and that kind of straightened them out, and now that those are glued on, it's going to hold that pipe straight. So next will be the jets themselves. Okay, now that our jets are in, or at least our housings, we're going to work on some of the drains. There's two types of drains, these 10-inch and the 8-inch. Now the 10-inch are going to go on our jet suction, which is going to be down here. And really all there is, there's 4 holes, and we're going to mark the holes, drill in some concrete bolts, and set this in place. I'm going to put a little bit of silicone in the bolt holes themselves. And then 8 inches are going to go on the filter suction and the filter return all the way around. So piece of cake. Okay, here we go. We're putting the jet bodies on. So there is, I'm sorry I didn't show you this part, there is a jet wrench that you're going to need, and you're going to go around on each of these, and you just tighten them up just like that. I went around and tightened those already. And in the meantime, also I got my plaster niches for the LED lights, and really this just pushes in, it glues in to the 2-inch pipe that you've installed in the wall. It comes with these different colored rings that you can place around, and then we're going to put the LED lights in there. I'll show that in a second. But I've also been going around putting the jets in. So for those, they look just like this. What you do is you pull that face forward, put it in the housing, twist it until it's snug. Doesn't have to be tight, just snug. Push it forward to click, and then turn it 90 degrees to open it up. So I'm going to finish going around all those, and then I'll show you the LED lights that we're putting in. All right, guys, so this is the LED light. It had a 30-foot cord on the back of it. This is the model Globe-Rite Pool and Spa underwater light. My recommendation, and I'm no pro at this, but here's kind of my thoughts. The only places in your tub you're going to have electrical and water combined are on your lights. So there's several different options that you have. What I don't want to do, I'm not comfortable combining 110 volts with water, or 220 volts for all that's concerned. So these LED lights, they're 12 volts. They are more expensive than what you're going to pay for, the other stuff, but really, they're color changing. They hook right up to your control board. So I think they're the way to go. So anyway, got your niche in. Make sure to put your colored ring on there for a couple different reasons, and I'll tell you why in a second. Well, for one, you have to do that first before you feed the wire in. So I fed the wire in through the back. There's some lube that it comes with. It's a lubricant and a sealant. It didn't really say this in the instructions, but I'm going to take a wild guess that you put it on this rubber gasket that goes in the back, because this is really the only thing of the light that seals. There's no threads per se. There's kind of a locking mechanism, and then this gasket. So anyway, all you do on these, push your wire through all the way, get this back in, make sure it's kind of lined up, goes as far as it goes, and there's this tool that it comes with that you put over here, and you give it a good turn, and it seats, and there it's in. I'll have you notice on the back side of this entire thing, sorry about that, is this is where it comes out there. I have put in a 1-inch conduit, and this glues into the back of the niche, or the housing, or whatever you want to call it. I haven't glued it in yet because I want to make sure I get the angle. And then obviously the wire just kind of spits out of there. The reason that I'm going to be doing conduit here is honestly because if you have to service the light in the future, the wire is going to be running around the corner back to where I have my panels on that back side of the tub, around there. So when you open up those panels, if I have to service the light, you can fish a line all the way up through your conduit, all the way back to your light, and then that way, if sometime 10 years from now that thing goes out, I can just replace it using the conduit easily. So there you go. That wraps up the interior of the pool with our jets that are in. There are 2 footwell jets. Over here is your jets with the, this is your filter suction line. Jets on this side with your jet pump suction line. Back over here with your jets, LED light, and your filter pump return. And then back to the first side, which is all the jets. So interior's finished. Now it's just a matter of wrapping up the plumbing on the outside, waiting for the cover to arrive, and hooking up the power.